morning. Hello. Welcome to everybody to the wonderful kerfuffle and the even more wonderful Matt and Chris from Property Video Solutions. Guys, how are you? You okay?
Very well, Mr. Whale. How are you?
Good. Well, this is obviously one of our series. You were one of the chosen 40 who got EA Masters recently. We were in the top 40 for top innovations of 2020, but also you got into the top 10. I think it was for marketing, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe it was. Although my first mistake with this was we got rather excited at HQ when we found out, and I put a post out saying we were top 10 in over 700 suppliers.
Okay, yeah.
Not quite true, so we had to chop it down a little bit.
I don't know. I think you can say that. Us and the academy, we did look at the entire marketplace. So knock yourself out. Go big. Look, we're looking at the biggest election in the world, and Trump doesn't hold back from just saying whatever he wants. And so you follow the same line as well. Well, guys, it's obviously a bit weird, isn't it? Because obviously, I'm guessing with the new lockdown, you've to a large degree had your you've been curtailed, haven't you, in terms of what you're able to do? What can you do? What can't you do at the moment?
So we've made a decision. So it's a bit confusing actually, because the guidance doesn't really apply at the moment to videography. So actual filming isn't on any list currently. However, photography, so our photographic studio side of the business is now closed to the public. So we've packed in what we had into the last few days, and now that is now closed. But Matt and I have taken the kind of decision that we'll continue to operate from our office, as you can see, like from where we are now. I'm in one room. Matt's in another. Our offices are broad enough to allow us to socially distance at work. But we're going to keep coming to the office because we're allowed to come to our place of business, which means we can effectively, because a lot of the projects that we're working on currently, we're doing a lot of testing of new equipment. That we obviously can't do that from home. We're setting up a big green screen studio at the moment, which we obviously can't do that from home. So, but obviously, given the editing that's sort of on the site, which would be difficult to transfer at the moment, if that does start to, once we've cleared all that up, in the next couple of weeks, we might have a week or so where we close the office and work from home. But effectively, we're still able. Obviously, we sort of offer some animation as well. So all that sort of stuff we can do from here. So it's only really the kind of the actual on-site filming, which is obviously a huge part of our business as obviously filmmakers. But yeah, I mean, we can offer most of our service other than the stuff that actually makes us any money. No, I'm joking. No, but we can offer most of what we do at the moment. Obviously, we've got clients who are keen for us to get back to them to do some of our filming on a monthly basis, and other clients who are looking at new projects and business profiling, all that stuff. But all that has to cease really, because we just, if we don't pitch in, if everyone just says, "Oh, it's not me," our business can keep going, whatever, then this virus won't dissipate, and so we'll just be in and out of this sort of lockdown forever.
Yeah. So I made the point that obviously video was really no great expose to you guys, but video was no longer a luxury, wasn't it? Still perceived the case, I think, by a lot of agents and everything else. It's really an essential. And I mean, actually, the timing couldn't have, I don't know, better or worse in terms of just reinforcing that. I mean, if you're going into this next lockdown period and you haven't got a strategy about providing digital, which is where most of your clients are going to find you these days, you're going to be in a pretty poor place, aren't you?
Yeah, I remember listening to you and Mincy chatting to Josh Fegan at the start of the first lockdown, and he said if you don't come up with a slightly sort of new revenue stream during this period, he said, then you're not thinking about your business clever enough. And I think there's a lot of people, and me and Chris were laughing the other day because like at the start of the first lockdown, we were like, we're going to get buff, like Bruce Lee, 1,000 sit-ups a day, and you end up not doing it. But we did work on the business, so we put personal physique aside. But this one, we've said, right, actually, we put that aside last time, so we'll still do business stuff, but let's get some physical stuff done as well on a daily basis. Now, I know speaking to some of our clients, they wish they'd done a bit more planning and prep and new strategy stuff during the first lockdown. So I think you might find those that do close actually sort of spend a good couple of weeks, like sort of delving through their digital offering and seeing what they look like. I mean, a tip we always say to someone is lay out all your offerings and or your branding on a table, and what does it look like? So you've got a website there, business cards, you've got your blog, your social medias. What does your business look like from a digital viewer? And that's quite a nice starting point to see, like Jerry Lyons and Chris Watkin will tell you, there's nothing worse than a blog that's old. It just looks like you don't care. So it's a great time to maybe spend just a couple of weeks or a week, like really analysing what your digital offer looks like from a layman's point of view. So yeah.
That's great advice. What else would you be advising agents to do at the moment?
I think having a good think about customer perception. So at the moment, you know, the only physical shopfront that people can visit is their digital one. So maybe do a bit of an audit. You know, what does your digital shopfront look like? You know, does your website have a video on the homepage? Retention for client on your homepage with video content is the first thing they see is something like 35% better because people are engaged straight away. Also, that has a massive SEO benefit. You know, Google give you a huge uplift if you've got video content hosted on YouTube and effectively iframed or effectively held it on YouTube and then effectively linked back from your homepage. And that's good because it doesn't drag your site down because it's not physically held on your site. It doesn't slow your site, which is good. And you get the figures were 85% SEO on Google Uplift if you've got a YouTube video on your homepage. Wow. So, and if you want to test that theory, I like to do this. So anyone who watches this, if you want to Google, to be fair, I did this in London in a week, right? If you Google photographer Grantham, okay, my photography company, not this company, England's Finest Photography, which is lifestyle stuff, will come up number one, and we pay nothing for AdWords, nothing for advertising at all. It's purely because if you scroll to the bottom, there's 3 YouTube videos, and I just put one on Vimeo just for the extra SEO, and that's it. So that video content makes me number one in our town locally on Google. Okay. Now I did this and someone accidentally put property video company into Google in London. And I was like, yeah, that won't ever rank. There's no way we'll rank anywhere. Because obviously there's lots of video companies around the whole country, you know, and we're on page 1. We're on page 1. We're at the bottom of page 1. And we pay nothing for AdWords at all, nothing for Google, nothing at all. The only reason that will be the case is because the very first thing on our homepage is a piece of video content that we've made, obviously because we're a video company. But genuinely, if people want to fact check, just put in property video company, and we should be at the very bottom of page 1 on Google, which is no mean feat. Or photographer Grantham, and I'm not, my photography company, as far as photography, is number 1. And the only thing we do, genuinely, the only thing we do that gives us that SEO boost, aside from having lots of social channels, blogs, all that sort of stuff, is having video content on our homepage. And it honestly, it works. It's crazy. The uplift is mental. So I think people should be thinking seriously about what is the first perception. You know, I'm doing a bit of work for a new client at the moment where I'm looking at his consultant. I'm doing some consultancy and looking at his Facebook page and his website to give him some feedback. It's some really basic things that people just don't seem to do. This client in particular has massive logos for Rightmove, Supplier, On the Market, stuff on his homepage, none of which are linked. So those logos are sat there, and none of them link off their page on Supplier. They don't link to their page on Rightmove. They don't link to On the Market. And not only do they not link effectively, clickable link to properties that they're physically advertising, which is criminal, but they also don't get that added SEO benefit, because by putting in a Rightmove link or a Supplier link behind that image, you're saying to Google, we have Supplier, we have Rightmove, we have On the Market. And all Google is doing is going, if someone puts kerfuffle into the internet or into Google, or property video solutions into Google, type it, Google casts its net out. How many times is property video solutions mentioned? How many times is property video and solutions together mentioned? What is the most relevant website for this search term? And then it throws it up the list. you know.
Yeah.
And so if you are estate agent St Neots or estate agent Stamford or estate agent Brighton, how many times on your website and on your social channel and everything else, and how relevant other material like Super, Rightmove, whatever, have those search terms in them? So you have to seriously think about those, and how that works, and think about, like, perception, how your customers viewing you, because at the moment they can't meet you.
Yeah, great advice there. So what would you be looking at then? Obviously, we've got this period of reflection, as you said there. Really great time to take stock of what you're doing there. In terms of the run up to Christmas now, on the belief that we get out, what would you be suggesting that most agents should be looking to plan for the calendar for next year?
I mean, agents wise, it's a case of just, I mean, we've whether people know it or not, but we work with a Belvoir franchise in Wrexham, of all places. They obviously had their firebreaker a bit early, and it's trying to figure out. I mean, Wrexham's like a big town, I guess. I think there's about 40,000 odd there, a bit like Grantham where we are. But the guy we're making stuff for is getting just crazy amounts of organic reach, and it's because he's one of the few businesses, let alone estate agents, doing video in the town. So we've said this before, it doesn't matter where you're from, people love where they're from. Like, I mean, Grantham's got its down points, I guess, and people say, oh, it's this and it's that, but when you scratch underneath the surface, or you've lived here for a while, you start to love it because you love that park or that little bar or cafe. And that's the same across, places get bad reps, but it doesn't matter where you're from, you will love it to a certain degree because that's your home, whether you move away and come back again. And it's a case of, like, he's giving stuff that the local community of Wrexham would want to watch. So it's really thinking about, and we go on about this, it's not about you, it's not about us. Yeah. It is always about you, Simon, but most businesses is, what do they want to, what the locals like to, I mean, we've got a guy in Llandudno, just down the road from Wrexham. He's never done video before, and he runs an Audi dealership. He put his first video out, and in 6 days, it was a COVID safe message saying we're closing, but we can still do the A, B, and C. And in 6 days, he's had 10,000 views. Like, now, don't get hung up on the views, but this guy's mind has been absolutely blown because he's like, what? There's people watching my stuff. And it was quite a basic 1-minute video. Yeah. So it's about thinking, like, what do your audience want? Like, stop showing off, stop doing this, because that will come across naturally that you're a good agent or you're a good business. Because, like, we don't just work with agents, but it's like, it's the give thing, like we keep banging on about. And occasionally you can ask and get, but, like, just give more than you're asking for, and you should win. But going back to the original question, in terms of planning stuff, get out into the community. Like, it sounds a little bit cheesy, and I know a lot of agents and established brands can't see themselves doing it, but just going to speak to other local businesses and finding out, like, new ones that have opened, or even if it's new ones locally that are online, and just sort of being that mayor, the digital mayor that we keep banging on about. But go around, take this lockdown time and start having a look at what other people are doing. And it's very hard to be original now with art and music, but it's still doable. And some of the best artists have lent off other artists. So have a look around, see what people are doing, especially in your area. If no one's doing it, just the fact that you put out a video about Grantham, about Wrexham, about Llandudno, people will naturally watch it. Ask Chris Watkins, people are interested in where they're from. So I think as a good starting strategy point is, like, what's going on in town? What can I give the people that's interesting? So yeah, it's going to cost you money to produce the videos, but, like, you'll see that come back.
You can help out on that, Matt, haven't you? I think the deal we've got up on Kerfuffle on your page actually is about you're giving some edit credits, aren't you? So I think if you haven't got the time now to look at this, you're never going to do it, are you? And really, it's just too important. You need to just get started and get rid of those barriers or those perceptions that you can't do it. You haven't got a face for camera or whatever, which obviously they famously say about us. But
but it's like, I mean, you've not done, well, you've done loads of video now, but, like, say 2 years ago, you were maybe doing bits and bobs, but, like, I'd say that, you know, if you did a quick straw poll, like, you'd be one of the prolific video content producers now, Simon, because it's that constant drip feed, and it's stuff that people want to watch. Like, this is interesting, and we're excited to be on here because we're talking about cool stuff. But there might be people we've never met before watching this and going, oh yeah, like, maybe I should do that. And it's just that, like you say, just do one video. I mean, we don't have to edit it for you. Like you mentioned there, Simon, the edit credit, it's 50 quid. Now, if you're serious about getting yourself some more market share or some more eyeballs on your business locally, why not spend 200 quid over lockdown and just do one video a week? Send it to us, we'll pimp it up, and just dip your toe in the digital water, because what can go wrong? I mean, like Chris said, you could get a bump up the page with SEO. You could get someone who's been, you know, thinking about moving their portfolio, or they've just bought their first buy-to-let house, and they might just give you a call and go, hey, saw you on the video the other day. Like, I'm really interested in what you're saying and the advice you gave. Can we have a chat about moving my new buy-to-let property across to you? So, but, you know, you've got to be in it to win it. Like, no one's going to see you if, I mean, Troy Malcolm talks about this, and, you know, your digital footprint. Now, I'd say if you're not doing much on social media nowadays and making the odd video, then your digital footprint's pretty invisible. Of course, people are going to find you the traditional ways, but, you know, just do a couple of videos. Like, it's me and Chris, you know, didn't like doing videos, so we were always behind the camera. But at some point, we were like, there he is. This is like a weird MC Escher photo. Yeah, just do it. Like I say, you know, we don't necessarily have to have your business, but we're here if you want to dip your toe in the water for 50 quid. So.
As you said, you've got those credits. You've got it. I would urge everyone to go to your Facebook page on that. Just remind everyone, how do they find it? What do they need to type in?
So there's obviously there's our business page, but no one really cares about your business except you and your mum. Good friend of mine told me that. But no, the best place for people to go is our sort of help and support group, which is the estate agency video group. You post stuff in there, sort of StreamYard stuff goes in there from you. There's a load of other great guys, some of our industry friends who offer great help and advice. Tony Morris, some great sales tips in there. Stephen Brown. Put some great stuff in there. There's some really solid agents in there as well, not just big corporates, but some franchisees, and also some really phenomenal independents, which we're lucky enough to call both friends and clients, which is brilliant. And people are so supportive in there. We set that up in the start of the last lockdown, because we were bored, had nothing to do, and thought we'd do something positive with our time. But that's grown now to nearly 700 members, which is great. And people are really, really supportive in there. If there is a question about tech, or does anyone use this bit of software, or how can I get going with this, it's super. So I'd encourage everyone to go there. It's completely free. So please go and look that up. But look, we're not at a loose end, obviously, because we've got lots of planning to do. We're going to be reviewing how we are perceived online. We've got a load of new showrooms, and we also need to put our money where our mouth is a bit, because we say to people, put your face on your website, on the homepage of your site, and that isn't what's on our website at the moment. So we need to we've got great video content, sure, but we're not in it. And if people are meeting us, they need to meet us. Because most business really is done on referral, recommendation. And if you get greeted by, well, probably not my face, but maybe Matt's face on the homepage of the website, then that's got to be better than just some bland or faceless organisation. But I think, get in touch with that Facebook group. If you've got any questions at all about video content, put something in there, and Matt or I or Nick, our head of production, or someone else will answer you. Do not suffer in silence. Just ask the questions. There are no stupid questions. Everyone's trying to move forward. Everyone's trying to get going with video. And if you can do it for yourself, amazing. If you want to do it cheaply, you can send it as us to do. If you want to do something really outstanding, in 2021, give us a shout. But really, it doesn't have to cost you anything. Doing is better than inactivity. You must make some content, even if you just do it on your mobile phone and post it on your Facebook, and put a few bits and pieces out to clients. response will be massive, I promise you.
Yeah. Perfect, guys. Well, look, all the very best. For the lockdown period and, of course, for the year ahead. But once more, guys, congratulations. Top 40 and top 10 marketing. Well done.
Cheers, mate. See you soon.
Mate.
Bye.